Assalamualaikum and hi, welcome to our group project explanation video. First thing first, let me introduce our team members. This team consists of 3 members, which is first is me, Muhammad Faris bin Muhammad Fadillah, second Amir Farhan bin Abdul Jalil, and the third is Muhammad ALIF HAKIMI bin AZHAR. Before we go through to the source code of main program, I will explain an adjustment we do in UML diagram. In use case diagram, we add the report loss book. We also remove the extent between the calculate fine and report damage book. In class diagram, we change all group setter to the individual setter and add some method for each class. We add get reference info and update reference info in reference book subclass. In loan book subclass, we also put the method which is get loan info and get book ISBN.
Our library menu code segment, we use do while loop for our menu. The menu will keep appear until the choice is not equal to 0. This is our menu output. We got 11 choice and 0 for the exit. For our selection method, we use switch case method, which is this block lets the librarian add either a regular book or reference book, and it asks the user to input book detail. Choose number 1, the new book will be added in the book object, and if you choose number 2, it's create a reference book object. Then both of them will be adding, it will be saved into book list. So this is our output for choice number 1. We'll be choosing either 1 or 2. Choice number 1, we'll be asking to enter the book detail. In choice number 2, we also have to key in book details, but it has extra detail we need to key in, which is shelf location. View book progress segment, which is we put it on case 2. The display count will be counted if the view choice is equal to 1 and not from book instead of reference. But the and for the else if the display count will be counted if the view choice is equal to 2 and the book is instead of reference book. If the display count is equal to 0, there is no book appear in the selection, and other than that, the total book will be displayed using the display count. This is our output if we choose number 2 to view regular book. Therefore, the view number 2, we're going to look at the view reference books. At borrow progress segment, it allows user to input a borrower's information. Then store the object in borrow list and call save borrower's array to write to the file. This is our output sample. We're adding the name, the ID, the borrow type with either is a student or lecturer, and then the borrower added successfully. For the view borrower progress segment, we look through all borrower records and print their details using the get details method from the borrower class. And the output is going to display all borrower list, which is 36 borrowers, including student and lecturer. For our borrow book progress segment on the first part, we're asking to enter book ISBN that need to borrow. Then we analyze if the book equal to none, the book is not in the system. If the book is a reference book, we'll be prompting that the book cannot be borrowed, and if it be available and is not available, the book is already been borrowed. For our borrow book progress segment on the second part, if the book is available and not a reference book, we'll be asking to enter borrow ID, and if the borrow ID is not equal, is not valid, we'll be displaying borrow not found. And after that, we'll be asking to enter the borrow date. If the date is not matches with our format, we'll be displaying invalid date format. And after that be done, a loan book object is created and added to the loan list. The book status is updated to available. So this is our sample output, which is and will be entering the ICB book, borrow ID and the borrow date. Then the book borrow is successful. So for our return book progress segment, this case process book return. It will find the active loan but SMBN and set the date. Also, this segment we also will calculate the fine that will be paid by the borrower if they return the book after the return date, and if the user pays, the receipt file is generated and saved to file directory. Then it will update book availability and save the data. Just number 1, we display SMB that to return, then the return date, which is the date that we return. We calculate the total fine that we need to pay, and it will ask if you want to pay or not.
So for the loan book, we are gonna bring out the loan records, and also we receive an information with the get loan info, and for the output will be the reference book. We have the details of the borrower, borrow date and due date when to return. For the report damage book on the segment, we want user to put the ID of the book, and we also want to user put the what is the damage that has been reported. So for the output will be have the ID of the book, damage description, and if the damage is successful to receive, then we pop up damage reported successfully. For the view damage per program segment, we are going to use the barcode reader, which is text file damage books, and we also will print out what are the information about the book. And for the output itself, we're going to see damage book with the ID of the book, title of the book, damage that has been reported. So as the admin, we're going to see a report that has been reported by the user.
These parts handle when a user report a lost book. The system first asks for the ISBN, then search the book list. If the book is not found, it notifies the user and exit. If found, it saves the lost book details, update the book status to unavailable, and save the updated book list. Finally, it confirms the book has been reported as lost. As you can see, this is a simple interface for this case. Next, this case allows the user to view all the lost books that have been reported. The system tries to open the lost book file using a buffer reader. It reads each line in the file. For every line, it splits the content by semicolon to extract the ISBN and title of the lost book. If data is found, it prints the ISBN and title to the screen. If the file does not exist or cannot be read, the system will show no lost book reported yet. This feature gives admins or users a simple way to track all reported lost books. And this is a simple interface for this case. Lastly, when the user selects 0, the system prints exiting and stops the current process or exits the menu. If the user enters an option that does not match any valid case, the system responds with invalid choice. This helps catch typing errors or unsupported inputs.
For find book by ISBN, it will search liner through array. Return object if found, and return none if not. It is very important for validation. For the segment for find borrower by ID is the same as the find book by ISBN, which is we search liner through array, return object if found, return none if not. Segment for find active loan by ISBN, this program will only return if book is still out of a loan, not yet returned, and prevent system from only return a book that's already in. For the segment to load the book from text file, we add the file book in the new file reader because it holding a constant file named book text file. On the while line equal to br.readline and not equal to null, and books count is less than max book, using to which is line in the file and ensure that we don't exceed book list size. On the condition, if part.length equal to 5, it equal to regular book. If parts.length equal to 7, it's called a reference book. For the books list, book count plus equal to new book, it creates the book object and store in array. Book count plus increase our count for next insert. And the try catch is a catch error like file don't exist fresh start and read error. Program segment to load the borrow text file, it will read from borrow.txt. Then we replace /t tab with semicolon just in case the formatting is inconsistent. After that, we extract name ID type, then store in borrow array. The looping will keep looping until end of file or max number of borrower is reached. For our program segment to load the loan text file, each line in the loan.txt contains ISBN, borrow ID and borrow date. We find the borrower and book using helper method. Borrower equal to find borrower by ID. Book equal to find book by ISBN. It creates a loan book object using constructor. If return date exists, set it using set actual return date.
So for the program segment to load the damage book text file, we're going to update the damage file damage book. So we are going to use buffer reader, and we also going to find book by ISBN, which is the first ID for the book, and status also will be changed if the book doesn't available or the report doesn't receive. We also have to update the lost books text file. We also use buffer reader to update the file lost books text file. We also want to get the find book reference ID. So we also have a program segment to save the books text file, and this also we're gonna get a lot of information such as the reference ID for the book, author, available, access type, title, category, and shelf location. We also want to update the borrowers, so we are going to use buffer writer for the text file borrowers. We also want to use getter to get the name, ID, and get type.
So this part handle when a book loan needs to be saved. The system loops through the list of current loan and prepare the detail for each one. For every loan, it collects the book's ISBN, the borrower's ID, and the borrow date. If the book has already been written, it also includes the return date. All this information is saved into a text file line by line. Finally, it confirms the data has been saved or shows an error message if saving fails. Next, this part handles saving a damaged book report. The system takes the book ISBN, title, and a short description of the damage. It opens the damaged book file in open mode so new records won't overwrite the old one. Then it writes all three details in one line, separated by semicolons, and move to the next line. If something goes wrong while writing, the system shows an error message. And lastly, this part handles saving a lost book report. The system receives the book ISBN and title, then open the lost books file in open mode, so the new entry won't overwrite existing data. It writes the ISBN and title in one line separated by a semicolon and add a new line after that. If there an error while saving, the system will display an error message. And that's how our programs operates. Thank you and see you again. Bye.